ആഘാതം നിയന്ത്രിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അങ്ങനെ പലതും സംഭവിക്കാമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. അവർക്ക് ധനസമ്പാദനവും ആഘാതവും ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്. അതാണ് കാര്യം. ഞാൻ എന്താണ് പറയുന്നതെന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാമോ? ഈ സത്യം കേൾക്കാൻ.
And Kanye West says that sooner or later the truth will come out. Yes, folks. Kanye has rocked the internet again. And this time, he's linking the Charlie Kirk incident to Diddy, leaving everyone completely shocked. While we're still trying to figure out what really happened, Kanye suddenly dropped a series of shocking statements. He said that the forces behind Charlie and Diddy are actually the same group of people. According to him, these powerful individuals control culture, media, and politics. And when someone steps out of line, they pay the price. But here's the part that really got the public's attention. Kanye suggesting that Diddy was safe only because he knew too much and had evidence that could vouch for his existence. And Charlie, according to Kanye, when he turned against the people who once backed him, he lost his only shield. And when that happened, they let him slip into silence as if he never existed. Some thought Kanye was just trying to get attention, but others believed he was trying to say something no one else dared to say. The vague statements, the repeated references to powerful tycoons, secret deals, and unnamed names, all of it set the internet ablaze. And now the question arises, are Charlie Kirk's case and Diddy's story really connected? Is this just a media coincidence or a trace of a power web that the average person never sees? Sit down, folks, because if Kanye is right, if what he's saying isn't just an emotional outburst, but a warning, then we may be witnessing a small piece of a much larger global game than we realize. Comment below, do you think Kanye is exposing the truth or creating smoke-screen to distract from the public? Because one thing's for sure, this story is just getting started. In case you didn't know, the Charlie Kirk case has the entire country asking what exactly happened here. Over the past few weeks, people have begun to point out a series of holes in the FBI's official version of the Charlie Kirk incident. From the identity of the suspect, the source of the weapon, the type of bullets allegedly used to the way the person left the scene, everything is unclear and illogical. Reports are constantly changing. Details are contradictory, and much of the information is obscured or withheld for security reasons. This has caused public trust in the investigation agency to all but collapse. When the government doesn't clarify, the internet finds answers, and that's when things start to spiral out of control. A range of influential people, from independent journalists, political experts to former intelligence workers, were involved in the unofficial investigation. But most prominent among them was Candace Owens, Charlie's longtime friend and a board member of Turning Point America. Candace did not remain silent. She publicly challenged the FBI's version of events, saying that there were significant parts of the dossier that could not possibly be true. She specifically took aim at Tyler Robinson, the alleged prime suspect. According to the FBI, Robinson was turned in by his parents after they discovered suspicious evidence. But Candace insists that never happened. It was a trap set up to frame Tyler, she said during a live stream, leaving millions of viewers stunned. Candace also hinted that a powerful group had manipulated the entire course of the investigation to protect the political and financial interests behind Turning Point. And then she dropped the first bombshell that set social media ablaze. According to Candace, Charlie Kirk had once turned down a $50 million donation from a company allegedly linked to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The money, she said, was not a donation, but was intended to orient Turning Point's political stance on issues related to the Middle East. Candace said Charlie knew the risks of turning down the money. He understood that it was never safe to confront powerful people. But Charlie chose to stand firm because he believed Turning Point had to remain independent, not be influenced by any country or hidden interests. After this statement, the internet exploded in controversy. One side believed Candace was trying to distract from the real story. The other believed she was saying things that people didn't dare say. Forums began to connect the event to mysterious financial funds linked to global organizations, and Twitter was abuzz with hashtags like Follow the Money and Who Funded Turning Point. From there, the story became more than a single investigation. It became a hunt for truth where politics, finance, and power intersect in the shadows. And as Candace said in her final broadcast, if Charlie was truly silenced, it wasn't because of what he said. It was because of what he refused to do. The sentence sent shivers down the spines of millions. Is the silence of the system not because of a lack of information, but because of things that were not allowed to be said? Candace Owens sent shockwaves through the internet when she revealed a detail that she said changed the way we look at the Charlie Kirk case. According to Candace, Turning Point USA, the organization Charlie founded, currently has an annual budget of about $140 million. But just weeks before Charlie's incident, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly offered the organization a $150 million grant. And the shocking part, Charlie turned it down, Candace recounted. They sent the offer. And I know Charlie said no. He didn't want Turning Point to be a political tool for any country. And that was the moment it hit me. He knew too much and he didn't play by their rules. That revelation alone sent social media into a frenzy. Hashtags like Follow the Money, Turning Point Scandal, and Who Controls Who quickly trended. Supporters said Candace was bravely speaking the truth, while opponents accused her of hyping things up and creating internal divisions. But Candace wasn't done yet. She followed up with a second shocker. Charlie was planning to change his stance on Israel just days before he left. Candace said she had transaction receipts and screenshots of messages to prove it. These images showed Charlie discussing with a member of the Turning Point America about withdrawing public support for certain international policies, which he said no longer reflected the spirit of the organization. Initially, many were skeptical. Some suggested the messages could have been edited or generated by AI. But then Josh Hammer, a veteran of Turning Point, appeared to confirm that the conversation was real. He admitted, "Yes, that was me in the chat. Charlie and I actually talked about it, and I'm glad the truth is finally coming out." In the wake of Josh's announcement, the entire political forum erupted. Independent media outlets began to dissect every detail of the conversation. Who sent it first? Why Charlie changed his stance and what made him feel threatened? Candace, in her next live show, opened with a chilling line. "They say I made it up, but if I lied, why did Josh confirm it? And if it was a conspiracy theory, why are they so scared when the truth comes out?" She insisted that these documents and screenshots were just the tip of the iceberg and that she would continue to release them piecemeal until everything is clear. But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a text grab, a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic, and I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. Tellingly, social media accounts associated with Turning Point began hiding or deleting Charlie's old posts that reference Middle Eastern politics, raising suspicions online that something was indeed being hidden. What was once considered a political accident has now become a global storm about power, money, and truth. And as Candace ended her broadcast, she looked straight into the camera and said slowly, "Charlie chose justice over money. And in this world, that's a choice many people pay dearly for." That statement left the audience speechless because perhaps for many, this was not just a scandal, but a warning about the price of honesty in the underground world of power. After Josh Hammer admitted that the texts with Charlie Kirk were real, the internet immediately turned to him. Users began digging through Josh's entire social media history, looking for anything that might reveal more about his connection to the Charlie incident. And they didn't have to wait long. Just a few hours later, an old post surfaced from Josh's ex-Twitter account, and it was absolutely chilling. It was a response he'd written 24 hours before Charlie's incident. Josh responded to an old tweet from Donald Trump written 12 years ago that read, "Sometimes it takes a public punishment to wake people up. When people see that, it's over quickly." Josh responded with 2 chilling words. "Go public." Just 2 words, but enough to send the internet into a frenzy. Why did he post that right before the incident? Why did he choose to respond to the post about public punishment? And more importantly, was it a coincidence or safe or a hidden signal? The timing combined with the leaked text messages between Josh and Charlie has people starting to wonder, was Josh just a casual insider, or was he playing a deeper role in the whole story? Some people think he may have known something. Others believe Josh was set up and that he was just a middle link in a larger scheme. Reddit, Telegram, and X forums are filled with theories. Josh lured Charlie to the Utah event. That tweet was a signal to someone behind the scenes, Candace warned, and now it's all coming together. And just as the public was reaching its peak, Kanye West appeared. For the first time since the Charlie Kirk incident, Kanye, aka Ye, broke his silence. In a live broadcast that lasted more than an hour, Kanye said in a tone that was a mix of anger and frustration, "Nobody should go because they have an opinion, but you're missing the bigger picture. This isn't just an incident. This is a system. According to a source close to Kanye, he alleged that Charlie Kirk had deep connections to several government organizations in Israel. He claimed that the Charlie Kirk project was created as part of an international media strategy, and that once Charlie stopped following that direction, he was isolated. He reportedly said the people who helped build him up are the same people who can take him out of the spotlight. When Charlie started saying no, they saw him as a threat. The statement sparked a storm. One side believed Kanye was revealing a truth that people didn't dare touch, while the other side believed it was just a way for him to seek attention. But Kanye didn't stop there. He added that the hand that fed you can also starve you. According to him, when Charlie refused to politicize Turning Point, he was withdrawn from all support and even faced severe mental pressure. Kanye emphasized that a huge financial offer was made, but Charlie still said no. They thought money would keep him quiet. But when Charlie said no, that's when they pulled the plug. After this statement, the internet exploded. Political news sites and YouTube channels began to analyze Kanye's words word by word, trying to figure out who he was referring to and whether there really was a power coalition behind Turning Point. Candace Owens then retweeted Kanye's clip with the caption, "Finally, someone has the guts to say what I've been hinting at for months." And so the fire of suspicion burned even more fiercely. Both Candace and Kanye were now in the eye of the storm, but they were seen as two rare voices who dared to challenge the wall of silence. As the night wore on, the only question that echoed across social media was, is Josh just a messenger or an enabler? Is Candace telling the truth or just a pawn? And if Kanye is right, then who's really running it all? No one had a clear answer, but everyone sensed it. This was no longer an isolated incident. This was an unspoken battle between trust, power, and truth, where every character could be both a hero and a villain. Now things get really dark. After weeks of silence, Kanye West, Ye, is back. And this time, he's directly linking Charlie Kirk to Diddy, sending the entire internet into a frenzy. Kanye, in his unabashedly emotional style, is straight up non-nonsense, and his words this time have left audiences breathless. According to inside sources, Kanye believes the same network of power behind Charlie's case is also behind Diddy's legal troubles. These are not two separate stories. Kanye reportedly said it's the same chessboard, just different pieces. Kanye in his telling paints a chilling picture of how the world of power operates. He sees Charlie Kirk and Diddy as two figures in the same system, but with completely different roles. Charlie Kirk, the mindsetter. According to Kanye, Charlie's job is to control the minds of America's youth. He was supposedly chosen to create an image of a young, smart, patriotic leader who unconditionally supports Israel. The goal, according to Kanye, is to make young Americans see Israel not just as an ally, but even as a second spiritual home. Kanye says Charlie is the ideal voice for the new generation. But the problem is that voice doesn't belong to him entirely. Someone else is writing that story. According to sources, Charlie began to push back against the script. He didn't want to be a propaganda tool. And that's when Kanye says things started to fall apart. Diddy, the secret keeper. If Charlie is the guide, Diddy, according to Kanye, is the gatekeeper. He was described as someone with access to high-level figures in politics, entertainment, and finance. Kanye compared the role to Jeffrey Epstein, but stressed that the goal was not to satisfy, but to collect. Diddy's parties weren't just parties. They were traps. Kanye reportedly said, every guest left a trail. Pictures, videos, information, it was all valuable and it was all stored somewhere. According to Kanye, it was those recordings that made Diddy soar in the storm. He said that the most powerful people in the music industry and politics feared what Diddy had. Epstein is gone, but Diddy is still here. Why? Because he has what everyone else fears most, evidence. The statement sent shockwaves through the internet because if Kanye is right, it means Diddy is not just an artist, but a pawn capable of upending the entire power game. The chilling connection, Kanye argues that Charlie and Diddy are both bound by the same power, except one does the talking and the other collects. Music. When Charlie refused to play his part, rejecting funding, refusing direction requests, he became a liability, while Diddy, who knew how to survive in the system, was kept in, even at the cost of his reputation. Kanye added, "The hand that feeds you can also starve you." When Charlie says no, they call him a traitor. Did he? He kept quiet, and that's why he's still here. The internet exploded. Two worlds colliding. As soon as Kanye spoke, conspiracy forums, political podcasts, and YouTube all went into overdrive. Theories. Kanye is revealing the plans of the underground. Diddy is a secret collector for the system. Charlie was removed because he wanted to get out of the network. Candace Owens is not out of the loop either. She reshared Kanye's clip with the caption, "People used to laugh when I talked about these forces." Now Kanye himself has confirmed it. Meanwhile, mainstream media outlets have unanimously dismissed these claims, calling them wild conspiracy theories. However, they cannot quell public curiosity because every time a clip is removed, 10 more copies appear. The storm is not over. The hashtags Charlie and Diddy, who controls who and ye knows, climbed straight to the top of global trends. Fans on both sides, political and musical, began to fight. One side believed Kanye was exposing what no one else was daring to say. The other believed he was playing a dangerous media game. But when Candace was asked if she believed there was a connection between Charlie and Diddy, she simply said, "I don't know for sure, but I do know one thing. Kanye never speaks without a reason." And that's when it hit everyone. This public inquiry was no longer just about Charlie Kirk. It had become a global story about power, control, and the collapse of public trust. The internet now wanted to know not just who's behind Charlie, but who was actually controlling those who dared to speak the truth. And if Kanye was right, this story was just beginning. According to sources close to him, Kanye West, or Ye, is making one of the boldest statements of his career. He claims that Charlie Kirk's entire career has been built from the ground up by the forces behind the international financial and media networks. Kanye alleges that they are the ones who have elevated Charlie to the ranks of America's leading conservative figures, funding, promoting, and shaping his image as a symbol of a patriotic young generation. As long as he follows their political agenda, they donate to his organizations, orchestrate his media campaigns, and give him access to powerful forums. But according to Kanye, everything changed when Charlie began to withdraw from his pro-Israel agenda. He wants to be more independent, not to turn Turning Point into a tool for any government or donor. And that, according to Kanye, is when they decided to pull the plug. They created him. They can delete him, Kanye reportedly said in a private conversation. When he said, "I want out," they deemed him useless. Kanye made it clear that Charlie wasn't just randomly drawn into the recent incident. "The Charlie Kirk thing," he said, was a warning message, a way to send a signal to others in the system. "If you dare to fight us, this is what will happen." The accusation, of course, took the internet by storm. Some called it a Hollywood conspiracy theory, but others said Kanye was tapping into something very real, a hidden power structure that the public rarely sees. Strange coincidences after Charlie's death. What made Kanye's words even more remarkable were the events that followed Charlie's passing. Just days after the news broke, Israel's prime minister reportedly met with a group of America's top influencers in a closed-door meeting described as discussing global communications strategy. According to leaked sources, these influencers were paid around $7,000 per post to spread positive content defending Israel's image on social media, especially on TikTok, Instagram, and X-Twitter. After Charlie Kirk's death, a sudden pro-Israel content surge raised questions. Kanye West claimed it wasn't coincidence, calling it a test of public reaction and part of a plan to control global influence. He linked it to Larry Ellison's acquisition of TikTok, alleging the platform's algorithm began promoting patriotic and geopolitical themes to shape youth perception. Kanye also tied Charlie's death and Diddy's downfall to a hidden power network. One punished for resisting, the other spared for compliance. Candace Owens hinted Kanye was merely early to the truth, fueling fears of a deeper, silent information war already underway.